All right, guys, how's it going? It's the Eastbayanglers. We're out here today to talk about walk the dog topwater baits. Specifically, we're going to break down the best topwater walk the dog baits ever made. That's right, the best ever made. Now, we're going to give you a variety of brands, bunch of lures, specific lures, and we're going to give them to you in every size. So let's start off with number one. If you want to go big, the Unker Punker. Everybody knows about this Black Dog Bait Company. This thing is absolutely incredible. You're gonna want to get the old school balsa, the first original run. You're not going to want the injected plastic ones. Those are not nearly as effective. The Unker Punker. I literally can't say enough about it. It's quite pricey now. It used to be fairly reasonably priced back in 2000 to 2005. No. So the second one we're going to talk about is going to be one that you guys can buy right now. And it's fairly cheap, so we might as well talk about it because it's the one that most people would be, it's in their price range. And that's the Super Zera Spook. And that's actually the saltwater version. And I'm telling you guys, get on that bone white with the red gill. You know, that's a really good color. That is literally, if I had one topwater color, walk the dog bait, that's the color I'd go with, to, you know, in general. It just shows up really well. It's a very bold color, and it is very visible. So, I love throwing the Super Zera Spook. Now, I change out, you know, to hyper wire, split rings, you know, different treble hooks that are more finesse on those. I do a couple modifications, you know, I add a split ring to the nose if there isn't one, things of that nature. The next thing I want to talk about is actually tying on a feather or something along that nature, maybe some synthetic material, some crystal flash at the end of the Zera Spook actually really entices a lot more fish. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna talk about is a small, very small version. If you want to throw smaller versions of a walk the dog bait, you're gonna want to get the Sami 100 by Lucky Craft. This is like a really good all-around profile length. It's just a good bait. It works really well. It's just, it's a phenomenal topwater bait, and a lot of people consider it their number one. So that's the Sami, and that's the 100 by Lucky Craft. And there's a few other sizes that they have. They're all pretty good, to be honest. I believe there's an 85 and some others. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is, let's say you have a smaller profile of bait fish or food in general, whatever it is that they're feeding on, whatever their forage is in that particular body of water. You're trying to downsize that profile, but you still want to be able to cast out on a bait caster, work your bait, and but you're trying to go small. You're trying to go really, really like finesse micro. Okay, get the Dog X Junior by Mega Bass. You'd be surprised. This thing is 3/8 of an ounce, and it just casts out like a mile, and it's extremely small profiled. So for each situation here, we've kind of broken down, you know, the bigger topwater walk the dog baits that are really good, some of the medium-sized ones that are exceptional, and we've also talked about some of the smaller micro finesse type walk the dog baits. We've kind of talked about a few companies, some expensive companies like Lunker Punker and the Sammy's, you know, in this kind of mid-range price. The Zera Spook's fairly cheap, and the Dog X is, you know, somewhat expensive. But you guys don't understand, most of the time you're not gonna lose, you're just not gonna lose your topwater baits. These are not gonna get lost. So don't worry about investing a lot of money into the topwater baits that are the most effective, because you're not gonna lose them. I mean, I can't tell you I've ever lost a topwater bait ever, because it's never happened. So yeah, don't worry about that, guys. We're talking today about the top walk the dog baits when you're bass fishing. And you know, guys, this isn't just largemouth and striped bass and spotted bass and Florida strain, Bama, northern, smallies. It's not just that. I mean, you go out there and you know, peacock bass will blow up on stuff like this, and a lot of other fish, pike, muskie, walleye, stuff like that. So stay tuned, guys. We got more videos talking about the best of what's available on the market right now. So have a good one.